President Trump will end the radical left's reign of terror in Portland once and for all. The president has directed Secretary Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland.
President Trump's ordered a review of federal funds to Oregon as the Antifa carnival of chaos continues in Portland. Radical agitators once again laying siege to the ICE facility last night, a ritual that's now dragged on for nearly 100 straight nights. There was your usual Woodstock-era hippie burning the American flag. One guy got cold-cocked in the face, a violent fistfight that left a man knocked out. ICE's Portland director says the facility is under constant attack with little help from local police, thanks to far-left city leaders tying their hands. 3 arrests in total, including conservative journalist Nick Sodor, who says he was swarmed, shoved into a flower bed, and punched. Swinging back but missing.
All of a sudden, I'm being jumped by Antifa thugs. I get back up, I stumble away and go back toward cops where I think, at least, all right, well, maybe that'll be a safer place for me to go. There's the videos now show me just standing next to the police. Never suspected that I was going to be the target of the arrest that they were coming in to make. Look, this is going to backfire on them tremendously. It already is.
AG Pam Bondi's now investigating Nick Sodor's arrest. Kennedy, there's thinking that there is collusion between the city of Portland and Antifa. What are you hearing?
I mean, essentially, they have the same political philosophy, and that is the virus that has infected this once great metropolis since before the pandemic. And it has gotten just absolutely awful. I mean, there are parts of the city that are completely boarded up. Where this ICE facility is, it's a pretty quiet part of town. It's removed from downtown. It's on McAdam. It's close to Johns Landing and the Oregon Health Sciences University. And so the officers that are there, they are just sitting ducks. So these Antifa groups, they coordinate with each other and they go down and they overwhelm, but then Portland police, because of the modified rules of engagement, they are not allowed to send in the forces that they used to. They used to be able to send in, essentially a rapid response team and a riot squad and cops on bicycles who can maneuver much quicker and react to things in real time. But we don't want to arrest anybody. So the rules of engagement had been changed. So there are fewer officers there. And the ones that are there are not allowed to make the kind of arrest they used to be able to. And so now they have a system in place where they are taken to one facility for a field arrest, and then they are taken to a detective for a formal arrest. These Antifa guys wear like 10 different layers of clothes. So if you have a probable cause affidavit and you see a guy in a blue shirt and then all of a sudden he's wearing a pink tank top, you basically have to make him disrobe until you find the layer that was captured in the first place for the probable cause. Because if you don't have probable cause in this city, you don't have an arrest. And even when you do have an arrest, you're not going to get someone charged with anything. And this whole cycle is just going to continue to devolve into a giant, once beautiful toilet.
100 days straight, Jessica. You'd think you'd be able to handle that with the Portland Police Department. Why has that not been handled?
Listen, I'm not going to sit here and refute that some of the footage seems like things are out of control. I'm also not going to sit here and pretend that it doesn't seem like in some cases when protesters are getting pepper sprayed in the face that ICE is going a little bit too far there. And you're going to have to find some sort of solution that deals with who the people are who live in Portland and what their politics are and how they feel about living in a militarized city and making sure that nobody is getting hurt and that the ICE facility can function and hopefully just pick up people who have committed crimes here in the United States versus just regular people who, yes, entered unlawfully decades ago, but are now being hauled away. This argument that, what's going on in Portland is a microcosm of how the country is just completely out of control and that we need tanks rolling down the streets of Chicago is not flying with the American people. There's a lawsuit now, Alabama, an American citizen who was arrested twice is suing for that as an American citizen. He was rounded up a construction worker. I guess he was like a little too Latino looking for them. And then there's what happened in Chicago, that there was an ICE raid on a South Shore apartment complex looking for Tren-de-Aragua members. There was a Black Hawk helicopter involved. American citizens were pulled out of their homes. There were children standing outside. They were zip tying the kids together. The American public should not stand for that. It's not just we will not stand for that. And I don't think you would be comfortable if you saw tanks rolling down 6th Avenue.
I haven't seen any tanks in the
Well, go to Chicago outside of the Broadview facility and you will see the tanks.
And I'm not even sure what you're saying is true because a lot of the stuff you say ends up being wrong.
But it's,
Kayleigh,
I can only go by the reporting.
Do you think that the things that she's alleging are happening or actually happening?
You don't think there's a lawsuit?
No,
an American man?
Anybody can file a lawsuit, Jessica.
Militarizing American cities. No. Here's what's happening here, Jessica. There are literally bottle rockets that have been thrown at an ICE facility. There are lasers being pointed in the eyes of ICE officers in Portland. Oh, wait, did we all soon forget the attack on an ICE facility last week where anti-ICE was written on the bullet, where it was targeted directly at hurting and killing ICE officers? No, the mainstream media came in and said that was about detainees, and then they were fact-checked, totally and completely wrong. Our ICE officers are under attack across the country. It's not the first time this happened. When I was there in 2020, this same Antifa crowd that's in Portland, they were throwing pig's feet and feces at law enforcement officers. And what did Democrats do? Kate Brown said the law enforcement that's there, the federal law enforcement, were secret police. She was the governor at the time. Nancy Pelosi called the federal agents stormtroopers. Jim Clyburn called them the Gestapo. That's what Democrats did. Demonizing federal officers does not work. And I will take the issue of crime and illegal immigration any day. These are winning issues for the Republican Party. And I love that Democrats are taking the bait. Make that your talking point. Tanks rolling down the streets of America. It's not going to work in the midterms. Did not work in 2024.
Greg Gutfeld.
Well, Jessica admits, and to her credit, that there's footage there that shows that it seems like out of control, but then she both sides it. Although some protesters are being pepper sprayed by ICE. And it's like, why? It's because the footage seems to show people out of control. And how do you get them in control when they're being violent? You have to use pepper spray because that's a temporary remedy. You're not going to shoot them. You don't want to hurt them. It's always both sides, though. If Antifa is rioting, you have to go, but wait a second, what about ICE? The American public voted for this. They don't want this. You're saying, oh, America, but no, they voted for Trump because they need law and order, because you guys dropped the ball. You abdicated your responsibility, moral and otherwise, to take control of this. It's not both sides. Only one side has expressed a consistent narrative that has turned into violent action, and this is happening every day. You want to talk about who is causing violence? How is this narrative and the violence connected? Well, let's talk about the narrative. Demonizing ICE and law enforcement, especially since the Michael Brown lies and the George Floyd riots, okay? So you redefine chaos and riots, and especially intimidation, as necessary protest. It shouldn't be protest when the people show up with weapons and armor. But somehow we've allowed that. It's transformed, and that is because the Democrats somehow believe it's empathetic to protect those who are coming onto a peaceful turf to intimidate others. And if you stand up for it, you're the problem. And if something happens, you're the problem because they're defending some kind of, some kind of compassionate aim that we don't understand. The interesting thing, and I'll stop here, the right doesn't excuse their side of violence. When something bad happens, it's genetically coded in us. We are averse to risk. We are pro-law and order. We don't romanticize edginess. Sometimes to a fault. You can call us dorky or nerds. But when somebody on our side does something, we're going to put them away for life. We're pro-death. But you guys cannot, you should have been able to look at that, Jessica, and say, God, that sucks. These people are awful. They've been doing it for years. It's terrible. Why is it that my side is always linked to hating law enforcement? Why is that? Could it be the narrative that just circles around these actions up to and before and including when it happens? That's how you should, don't just say, well, it looks like ICE is being a little hard on them, pepper spray. We only have pepper spray. What else can we do?
That was my internal monologue. And I guess that you just came out for wanting to rescind all the pardons for the J6ers who've gone out and even
J6 for one day in 250 years, and we condemned it. We condemned
Talk
it.
to the President of the United States about, these are my people.
What about us? You're missing the point again. What about, I'm talking about a narrative. There was no narrative that caused that. Whatever.
I gave you an example.
We've been down this road before, and I don't want to leave any more skid marks on you.
Don't talk about your potty stuff out here.
All right. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You won't get it anywhere else.